All right, let's get started here. My name is Rene. I'm the Director of Product Development at AMAX. And today I would like to talk with you guys about the challenges of moving OCP from a POC into a real deployment. So why does everybody love Facebook's OCP? Well, I put down here 3 reasons. First of all, power efficiency. Facebook quotes you can save 38% of your power, and power saving directly translates into money savings. So this is the big thing. The second one is the maintainability of the system and the robustness of the components since they're hard. Having all the contacts in the front and the ability to move out the sled without running around in the data center makes it very maintenance friendly and saves you a lot of time and so money. And the last thing, it's a modular approach. So you have building blocks and you can recombine those building blocks and reconfigure it according to your application. So everybody loves it. Then we do a POC, and what happens? Well, obviously we have some challenges because OCP is not an industry standard yet. So let's take a look at the challenges. Challenge number 1. We have deployments to labs. Labs do their assessment and they find out that the power savings that they measure are way smaller than the 38%. And part of those power savings, or a big part of the power savings, is actually located in the data center itself, not on the rack level. So how can we access that? The second thing is the management challenge. Customers are used to have management tools like the HP OneView or the Dell tools that you just plug in, and the management tools allows you to manage all the components in the rack and even in your data center. And there's nothing like that available here. Facebook is choosing a do-it-yourself approach. It's not only that they do use like IPMI scripting, they even write their own software for the BMC controller, write their own interfaces, write their own software layer on top. But this is not a consumable solution for customers. The third one, it's a project. What we have here, we have hardened solutions on a component level. So Facebook's or OCP servers are very reliable, but we do not really have an ecosystem for that. So what could be the solution? What we'd like to introduce today is one platform featuring the Smart DC Management Suite powered by Intel. So what is one platform? One platform is a validated rack-level solution with all the components in the rack. So we validate the servers, the power shelf, the switches, and on top of that, we run a management layer which allows us an out-of-band management of all the components, real-time power management, health management, all the stuff that you know from HP and from Dell on top of this rack. And at the same time, we have a validated solution for multi-application support, so we can run cloud application, storage application, big data, HPC, whatever you want. We can modify the power shelf according to your needs. So we can have a standard 12 kilowatt power shelf. We can put a battery in for battery backup. We can go up to 24 kilowatt if needed. And we use the high efficiency modular OCP hardware. So let's go back into what are the real problems and let's discuss it one by one. Facebook versus reality. What are we going to do with the power saving? How can we benefit from the Facebook power saving? So if you look a little bit more into detail, the 38% power saving breaks down to 50% in the data center infrastructure and 50% on the rack level. What you see in your engineering lab is that the power efficiency on the servers itself is not any different from the power efficiency of regular 19-inch equipment, because the power supplies that you use in your 19-inch equipment is on par with that which is in the power shelf. So the half of the power saving, the 20%, or 18% here goes away. On the other hand side, companies resist to retrofit their existing data center. They should do, though, because a big loss in the data center is based on the way how you run the data center, and it's the conversion loss around the centralized UPS. So how can that be resolved actually without touching the data center? Well, what we're doing here is we're moving the backup battery from the data center into the rack. And without touching the data center infrastructure, simply by running your data center in eco mode, you can save 10 to 15% of the battery. And we can do even more. We can replace the centralized battery by the battery in the rack, and we have a gap there between the uptime. The uptime of the rack is 90 seconds. The uptime in the data center and the centralized power supply is about 5 minutes. But we use the Smart DC Data Center Manager and a power capping, a dynamic power capping of the nodes to close this gap. And if you're interested in this, we have a live demo over there at the Intel booth. To please, join me after the talk. Move over to the Intel booth and I'll show you how it works. The second thing, how do we address the management issues? Well, what you can do is you can do IPMI tool, you can do your scripting, and you can do it all, like by yourself. What Facebook is doing, they're writing their own code for the OpenBMC because it works for the application. They're writing their communication protocol, they're writing their software layer on top, but that's not what you want. What we're providing here with a Smart DC, it's a pop-in, ready-to-go, plug-and-play management solution which you can just deploy and use to manage the whole rack, but also other components of the data center. So don't script it, don't write it, just use it. You're going to love it. And here's a couple of features just to give you an impression what we do. It's very comparable to the tier ones, what HP is doing, what Dell is doing. You have out-of-band management. You don't have to install any clients. You have intelligent power management if you needed that for node power capping or smart power policies. You have a very user-friendly interface. We can also show you that over at the booth. But there's more. What we can do here, since we're hardware agnostic, we cannot just only manage hardware in our AMAX deployment, but if you want to, you can manage an HP solution, a Dell solution, a Quanta solution, a Supermicro solution, a Foxconn, an Asus, a WeWin, you name it, we manage it. The last point, it's a project. Why is it a project? Because there is no real validation of all the components within the rack. So what we do for you, we validate all the components on a rack level. You're ready to go. We provide you a robust GUI for the management. We support multiple applications. If you run OpenStack, Hadoop, whatever you want to run, we optimize it for this application. And it will be delivered fully integrated and ready to pop into your data center. So, let me conclude. I'm very excited about our solution. I really think this is going to be a game changer. This will drive OCP out of the POC state into the data center. And so, let's take the project out of OCP. Thank you. You guys have any questions? All right, well, I see you at the Intel booth.